All right, so we had a few clients to ask yesterday about the video upload for the Good to Great and to speak about that more specifically. So I'll go through that really quickly, um, just touch on some things so that you can try to get something out of it and try to understand where we're going. If you haven't read the book, then or the audio or one of the seminars or something along those lines, then I suggest you do so. Jim Collins, uh, the information in there business wise is phenomenal, but it's also helpful for parenting, coaching, as an athlete, as a student, especially, and just getting to kind of know yourself as who you are as a performance leader, or as someone who works within the structure or the framework of somebody else's army, so to speak. So, but the first one is level five leadership, and I think level five leadership really comes down to kind of that almost stoic Spartan like leader that understands what the brutal facts are. They understand the structure of the company. They're not afraid to gather the intel and see the brutal facts are, whatever they are, and then confront them piece by piece while being kind of more, again, like more concerned with what they're going to accomplish, not with necessarily how they're going to accomplish it. So even if, like with PG, even if they've always been a company that's done a certain thing, whether or not they've done it forever didn't make a difference with whether or not they're going to continue to do it if the information dictated that they made a different decision. So that level five leader is somebody who's not afraid to make a bold decision that moves forward and forces them to delay gratification, because you're not going to get short-term feedback that says, oh, it's a great idea. It's not the popular choice, it's the right choice. And then for the next one, we got first who, then what. That simply means this: getting the right people on the bus in the right seats. And that means that, so for instance, in the student athlete world, it has to do with making sure that you have the right coaches and that they're coaching you for where you want to go, not necessarily for just where you are also. So for where you are, for where you want to go, and then making sure that you have a full team of people that meet your every need. And if you don't have somebody meeting one of those needs, then you need to make sure that you go out there and get the right information so that you have the right people helping you on that. And if you have somebody that's coaching you in a situation and or on your team and they don't really fit the mold, then maybe it's, maybe you're just dealing with that for the moment, but eventually you're going to have to progress past that. And I'm not going to tell you what to do about that, whether you get a different team or you try to get a different coach or you try to whatever. It's focus on yourself first, operate within the framework of whatever you're dealing with, and then eventually you're going to move forward anyway, because you're going to move upward. So confronting the brutal facts, this is the Stockdale Paradox, which means you deal with what information is there, and then you understand that and you have faith that you are going to succeed eventually, but it might not be soon. It might not be today. It might be a ways off in the future, but you'll take the proper course of action and you will get there eventually with your team. And but again, it means that it might not necessarily be pleasant today. The Hedgehog Concept. So that's about the three circles and the and understanding you're not going to be a slick fox and kind of do everything, but you're going to do just that one thing and you're going to do it great. It doesn't mean that you don't do things that work together with that, but it means that you understand what that one thing is that you're passionate about, that one thing that you can be the best in the world at or the best in your circle at, and then you understand what the fuel is for it, for the resource engine. So for instance, if you're we'll use like if you were a quarterback or something, maybe your resource engine is in order to be successful, you need to make sure that you move within the pocket, or whatever the one thing is that sets you apart from that next person. That's your one thing. Now in business, that's a little bit different. That might be like your revenue per available customer, or it might be number of number of clients per square foot or something. It's different for different things. Then the next one we have the culture of discipline. This just means discipline action across the board with everybody who's involved. The freedom to operate within a framework and a structure. It also means the risk, be able to take risk but still be accountable. And it's the difference between having a job versus understanding that you have a responsibility. So that's kind of like the difference in the culture of discipline and how it would relate to student athletes. You can understand that. And the flywheel is the last one. The flywheel is about exponential growth through the process and not necessarily any overwhelming one moment. So that means like if you were a great athlete, it's not like, well, if you're in track, it's not like, oh, they won that one race, they're phenomenal. No, it would be like, oh, well, they practice phenomenally. They're working on their technique. They're doing this in the off season. They're studying this. They're breaking down their film. It's not like, well, they had that one run, because one run doesn't mean that like you're going to be a phenomenal runner. It just means you had one great performance. That could be the outlier rather than the example, the consistent example. So it's that consistent pushing on the flywheel by yourself and by the other team members that you have involved with you that actually creates sustained greatness. And that's what it's about, which it gets back to. It's about good to great. It's not about good to one-time great or anything like that. It's about understanding there's a process, being honest about the situation, and then addressing your issues, making sure that you have a structure and you have a consistent process that you work with in order to get better every day. And most importantly, also those brutal facts, that comes down to tracking. If you don't have your own tracking matrix set up, and so long story short, short story long, whatever, what we try to do with our athletes, and they have to do it though, is they have to be disciplined to track those things, to monitor themselves, to make sure that they understand what their goals are, that they understand what they're the best at, and improve on that every day.